most haunted jails in all of Australia.
We had men, we had women, we also had children as well.
There's been so many deaths here, there's been over 300.
Does that sound like a voice?
That sounded weird.
And so it begins.
What was my name again?
Hi, Dave.
Are you on the stairs?
I'm coming.
Can you show us the path that you had to walk?
Wow. Sound like a male voice just said hanging.
That was freaking weird. That scared me.
Dude, I have chills right now. Is going nuts. Your decisions that you made led you here.
What did it say?
It said David.
All right, Ryan, here we are. We're officially in South Australia in Adelaide at the Adelaide Jail.
Yeah, we were invited here by Adelaide's Haunted Horizons Ghost Tours to spend the night in what is considered to be one of the most haunted jails in all of Australia. And I'm so excited to go inside this beautiful building and not only experience the history, but the hauntings, because they did things differently here than what we've experienced in jails and prisons in America. And there is so much for us to see, so much for us to learn, and hopefully so much paranormal activity waiting for us behind these gates.
I can't wait.
You want to go inside?
Let's see if we can get in.
Let's see if we can get in. Oh.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to our jail. Come on in.
Thank you.
Though it's called a jail, make no mistake, this was a prison, and a lot of South Australia's most dangerous criminals were kept here. In these same halls, we'll be investigating and exploring tonight. Some of them never left, and I'm not just talking about ghosts. Those convicted of the worst crimes are still here to this day.
So the jail was built in 1841 and it shut in 1988. So it had 147 years of working life. During that time, we had 300,000 prisoners come through those white doors. We had men, we had women, we also had children as well. Youngest that I can find is around about 6 years old.
And this was no place for young children. These walls saw unspeakable things, and even housed murderers. 45 of them were punished by the noose. But that's not where their punishment ended. The punishment for those 45 souls continues to this day.
So you did not own your loved one's body, so you were not allowed to come and claim it if somebody was executed. The state owned the body, so the body remained here for eternity.
They are buried in a cheap pine coffin with some lime mixture on the top, with some water to make them decompose very quickly, and they're buried in a very shallow grave there, which remains there to this day as a final punishment.
These cemeteries inside the prison walls are called Murderers' Row, and this eternal confinement is why I told you some of the prisoners never left. All 45 are still here.
Elizabeth Wilcox, I'm just going to talk about her briefly. She was the only female that we ever hanged in South Australia. And hers was a miserable story. She was born in a place called Burra, which is a mining town. They didn't have a lot of homes there when the miners first came, so they dug homes in a creek bed in Burra there. But unfortunately, creek beds, big floods come down, wipe out those homes. So her father went to Ballarat to the goldfields, took his family with him, and the mother left and abandoned Elizabeth there when she was 4 years old with her dad. Now, things got worse for Elizabeth because when she was 6 or 7, She was physically attacked by another man, and she was left for dead as well. So she had a very traumatic start in her life. She eventually learned her mother was still alive, came down to South Australia to be with her mother, and met Thomas Wilcox. And she started to be like the housekeeper and nanny for the kids, which in the 1800s, a young girl under the roof of a much older man, very much frowned upon. So he married her to try and stop the rumours, and things got from bad to worse because he was also highly abusive. He was a drunk. And just after that, Thomas Wilcox got very sick and got sicker and sicker until he passed away. And they did an autopsy on him, found he died of mercury poisoning. Now, she was brought down to Adelaide. She was not allowed to speak in her own defence. She was found guilty of having murdered her husband, and she was sentenced to hang by the neck until dead. So once the sentencing came through, very quick, it's only 28 days at the most here in Adelaide, in South Australia, she was taken through a door in the wall just there to a gallows that was waiting for her just on the other side of that wall. And she went up the gallows in her favourite white dress with a bunch of flowers and just said, "It's God's will."
We have had a figure of a lady seen. She was wearing a certain colour dress. People think she could be connected to our only lady that was executed here. So, and that's happened a couple of times in there, so.
I went in there, had the door open. The idea was to put the equipment on that hatch there and in the cell, read this confession here live and see what would happen. So I did that. I had 2 flashing cat balls, one behind each other here. I had a ghost box, spirit box there, and I started to read that. It's really difficult to read. It took me about 15 minutes. They printed it like she wrote it, and she was not good with grammar and spelling. And after I did that, I went, oh my God, her grammar is terrible. Just after that, you hear on the ghost box a male voice come out going, "Focus on her."
Focus on her.
Then you hear another word going, "Good luck." And then you see the back ball start to flash. The back ball came forward, hit the front ball. They both started flashing. They both flew past me. Now, oh my God, both balls just came off the thing. Back ball, no reason at all. Just moves on its own, comes forward and knocks them all off. So I did apologise to Elizabeth. I'm not so rude now.
Elizabeth Wilcox and 19 others were executed using gallows structures that are no longer on site. But the final 25 hangings occurred in areas that we're going to get to investigate tonight. These areas are notorious for paranormal activity. But even for those who didn't face the noose, sometimes death was unavoidable in the Adelaide Jail.
Well, there's been so many deaths here. There's been over 300 through murder, suicide, old age, illness, and then you've had 45 executions as well. So it goes a long way to having paranormal activity in these buildings.
The sun sets while Allison continues our walkthrough of the jail, and to our benefit a storm moves in, making this night more exciting and more creepy.
Oh, yay.
It's finally happening, you guys. On an investigation when it's supposed to storm, it's finally happening here in Adelaide, at the Adelaide Jail.
They didn't have toilets here, even up till 1988 when the place closed down. That's one of the main reasons were the conditions. They were still using buckets in 1988. Back in the very early days, they would have hammocks in here, and they would use the rope from the hammocks to take their own lives. And the food, I was told the food was absolutely awful. They used to give them this horrible slop that even the local birds wouldn't eat.
All right, so this building that you're in is Remand. Now, Remand is just where they were put before they went for their court case. So they weren't innocent, they weren't guilty, but it was getting overcrowded in here. At one point, they had 3 people per cell. I never liked this building. There is a more haunted building, which is the new building, but I never liked it because when sweet sound.
That's creepy.
And so it begins. This is the only block that we really had anything physical or what seemed to be a physical attack happening. So we had a group of people in here. One of them really wasn't interested in in the ghost stuff. He'd come along, but he wasn't. And I said, well, look, I'll take you for a history tour. My guide can look after this. So the next thing I know, there's this torchlight bouncing towards me, and I'm standing there going, hello, something's happened. And Ash came running up to me going, you better get back down to Remand, because Dee, who was one of our guests, has been hurled out of this cell. And she smashed her head on the cement here. She said suddenly it was starting to feel uncomfortable in there. And before she could do anything about it, she said she felt something hit her right in the side there. She went out backwards. She didn't even have time to grab the door frame. And she did take the full brunt with the back of her head on the cement here.
That takes a lot of force, a lot of energy.
Yeah. And here, and it's funny you should say that, because here's the other observation. When that happened, it was almost like it expelled all this energy, and then it was so quiet in here.
If this cell block has been known to have physical attacks, we'll definitely need to focus our attention here later. In a place like the Adelaide Jail, anger would become almost second nature, as these prisoners were trapped in these cages. The outside world was so close, they could almost feel it from behind the walls.
And it's really weird because you're walking down this really old alleyway, you've got old buildings either side of you, and a place that dates back to 1841. You've got the emergency helicopter coming over. It's strange. And it must be very frustrating, especially in the latter years for people that are in here, because you can hear everything going off around you. You know, what it must have been like being sitting in a cell and seeing and hearing the airplanes go overhead. That must have been torture for them.
So where we are is the hanging tower. So I'm standing under the gallows here and standing on the trapdoor. So this is the condemned prisoner cell here, and this one here is where the executioner was. Now, just before 6 o'clock, they would be brought into this room here. As you can see, it's not a most appealing room. That's where they would sit until just before 8 o'clock. Just before 8 o'clock, this door would open, and out would come the prisoner. Now, this will be the last thing that he sees, is this rope sitting here waiting for him. He would be stood facing in this direction. He would have the hood put over his head, the rope put around his neck, and then they would wait. And they would be waiting to see if there was a reprieve. If there wasn't a reprieve, then the executioner would be in this room here. This is where the lever is. There's a little window on here. So the signal would be given through that window. The executioner would get that lever. The executioner would pull it, boom, down they would go.
You can imagine the emotions of people knowing that their lives were going to end in so many hours. It must have been absolute torture for them to actually be in the condemned man's cell, or to be in the cell before they get taken to wherever they're going to be executed. And the emotions must be unbelievable.
Have you ever had any paranormal experiences in here? Because that could really be a recipe for trapped energy.
My very first ever experience here was actually on a tour before we started investigating. We had the tour in here. I was on the tour. Suddenly it felt like there was pressure coming through my back. I could feel it aching in my kidneys. I could feel it aching even into my stomach. It was like this pressure pushing through into the organs. And I must have gone white, because she looked at me and said, "You all right?" And I said, "I don't know." I felt really weird. So she grabbed me and she dragged me out there, got to the end of the ramp, and then it all lifted, all disappeared.
Have you ever heard of or had any experiences yourself with paranormal activity related to some of the people that were executed?
Personally, no. I haven't, no.
What was that?
Was that you guys down there?
Did that sound like a voice?
That sounded weird. I don't know what it was.
Did you hear it, Dave? No. Have you ever heard of or had any experiences yourself with paranormal activity related to some of the people that were executed?
Personally, no. I haven't, no. Personally, no. I haven't, no.
What was that?
All right, so where we are now, this is the new building. So now the new building seems to make it all sound modern and whatnot, but it was actually built in 1879. So back then it was the last main building to be built on site. It got the nickname New Building back then, and that's stuck. Everybody refers to it as a new building today. So this is the building that brought us to the jail, because this is the one the stories were coming out of. So people, even during the day, were reporting having seen a guard in here, usually up on the second gantry or the top gantry there. So
hearing the footsteps and hearing the door, sometimes you go around, it's almost as though somebody is walking around the cells, and then you can hear the eyepiece that they move to one side. That's a distinct sound. It's almost like there was a prison guard in here just doing his daily job.
We call him Sir. It's supposed to be a guard, and we call him Sir because we were doing an audio experiment in here with the ghost box one night, and we very politely said one night, "What do you like to be called, Sir?" What you hear is this staticky stuff on the radio before you hear this very clear male voice just come back on us and just go, "Sir." So we came in here. I stand where I always stand here on the third step. My backup for the night had finished. He was sitting on the same step, but towards the railings there. As I started to talk about Sir, we started to hear footsteps coming from the top gantry from where we'd just come from around the corner there. They came to the top of the stairs behind me. You couldn't see anything, there's no figure. Came to the top of the stairs behind me there, and I'm standing there going, yes, because their jaws dropped. They were that definite. What I didn't expect is what happened next, because they started to come down the stairs towards us. It walked between me and my guide, and then we listened to it walking off down the hallway here and out the door at the end. You could not have choreographed that any better than what happened that night.
This officer seems to be the most dominant energy within the new building, despite the fact that there is no documentation of any guards dying inside its walls. But there has been death in this building. On the second level sits the third out of 4 gallows of the Adelaide Jail, and it was the most utilized in the history of the prison. 21 executions were performed inside this building, and it just so happens we're here on the anniversary of one of those hangings.
Marpoo killed his friend Tommy R. Fook because he didn't like the way that he was cussing and swearing at him, so he shot him in the head. Supposedly he didn't rob him, though. He did meant to killing him, but not to robbing him. And he actually put his body into a cesspit behind one of the buildings on Hindley Street. He was actually executed here at the Adelaide Jail on the 10th of November, 1883. He lost his life. So you should never shoot people in the head because they cuss and swear at you.
Words to live by.
But with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started with the investigation. The storm has just rolled through, that energy is really starting to ramp up, and who knows what could happen while we're here tonight at the Old Adelaide Jail. So are you ready to go lights out, Dave? Switch over to night vision and see what we can pick up on?
Let's go do it. Let's get ready. Let's do this one.
All right, so we're getting ready to do abandonment. We're gonna leave the Adelaide Jail completely empty with 4 areas covered by cameras. Right now we are in A block, also known as the new building. This is the set of stairs that Allison said that she heard what sounded like very heavy and distinct boot steps walking up and down. And we have a paranormal tripwire that is actually laying up the stairs here to try and capture any sort of EMF changes or fluctuations of things that may be moving up and down the stairs. Our next camera we have is in the hanging tower. There were 4 known executions in that specific area. There were also 21 executions here in this building, in the new building. But we have the hanging tower covered as well. We have the paranormal music box in there. We have the ghost tube running to see if it says anything relevant, but also we have a piece of equipment that we are borrowing. Since we are in Adelaide, we are borrowing a piece of equipment from Amy's crypt. Amy let us borrow her paranormal tripwire. Also, there's an EMF lantern that she is letting us use that we have actually hanging from the hook where the noose would be strung through during those executions. So we'll see if there's any interaction with that, to see if that picks up on any fluctuations in electromagnetic energy, to see if there's anything paranormal that might occur in relation to those hangings. Our third camera we have set up right outside of Elizabeth's cell. Elizabeth was the only woman that was actually executed at the Old Adelaide Jail. So, did you see that? Tripwire went, I just think. It didn't? Huh, I thought the tripwire just went. Do you know Elizabeth? But outside of Elizabeth's cell, we have the Mel meter. We have a cat ball because Allison said a cat ball flew off of that. Did you see that? Yeah. We also have the ovilus on the ledge to see if it picks up on any words that are spoken by Elizabeth herself, so we'll see if that says anything. The fourth and final camera we have set up in the Remand building. It's a lot of residual energy in there because that's where inmates awaiting trial were actually housed. You can imagine the panic, the anxiety, the fear they may have had awaiting their sentence. Are you ready, Dave, to leave these cameras set up and see what they pick up?
Yes, I am.
Well, let's do it.
Hold on, I think this calls for our very first Australian we're leaving.
I think so. I think we need to do an Adelaide, Australia, we're leaving. Wow, tripwire just went.
Yeah, we're leaving. Just give us a second. All right. We're leaving!
Let's do it.
Before we show you the evidence that was captured on Abandonment, it's important to point out the lights in the hanging tower are on a timer to conserve energy. Once turned on, they stay on for 15 minutes and then turn off automatically. So when these lights turn off, know that it's not paranormal.
Demon.
As you just saw, it didn't take long for the EMF lantern to start detecting strange spikes. But that's not the weirdest part. After this flurry of EMF, the lantern fell silent for 4 minutes before it spiked again. And that would be the last time it would trigger. For the next 51 minutes, the lantern is silent. A pattern we would also notice in the new building with the EMF tripwire. Our first session in the Adelaide Jail will take place inside the new building, with the reports of a guard called Sir frequently being seen and heard. Along with the dark history of 21 executions inside this cell block, we're more than ready to see what's waiting for us in here. We'll start with an Estes Method spirit box session, and I'll be listening to the spirit box while sitting directly below the gallows.
Blindfold going on.
And once again, we'll record the spirit box audio as I'm listening, so you can hear the voices too.
Oh, that was weird. Sound like a male voice just said hanging as soon as I sat down. Oh, that was weird. Oh, that was weird. Sorry.
Okay, so we are getting started on an Estes Method session here at the Adelaide Jail. Ryan is going to be listening. We have all kinds of devices set up around here. We have a tripwire here.
You want to talk shipping?
Oh, wow. Sounded like someone said, wanna talk
Not really. I just came here to
do something. Listen.
Listen.
I just heard the meter on the stairs go off. Are you on the stairs?
I'm coming.
If you're on the stairs,
Follow me.
follow you where?
Ryan.
Oh, wow, it just said Ryan.
You have to let me know where to follow you.
David?
What is your name? Tell us your name. Can you do that? Thomas Blythe.
Face him.
Thomas Blythe.
Follows.
Whoa. Tripwire just went off.
I feel like there's someone standing behind me.
I was just down there. Who is communicating with Ryan? Tell us your name.
Something about anger. And then it sounded like it said, till the end.
What are you so angry for? Are you over there on the steps? If you're over there on the steps, make yourself known.
Coming.
Can you try and push that off of there?
The light.
Run.
Fear. And then run.
You made that light go off over there. Can you please knock it down?
Yes.
Dead.
Are you dead? Do you know you're dead? What happened to you? How did you die? Can you tell me that?
Unfortunately, we didn't realize this action cam was never fully connected to our external battery pack, and in the middle of this session, it dies without us knowing. Plus, it seems whoever was answering Dave's questions has stopped talking.
Anything interesting so far?
Some of it was interesting, yeah.
It was like very, very frequent voices there to begin with, and then it just kind of died off.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if we switch, with Dave listening and me asking questions, we can gain their interest back.
All right, now Dave is listening. And I, Ryan, am going to be the one chatting with you.
He's coming.
Whoa. Are you kidding me? Is this Sir?
Yes.
Hello, sir. Tripwire. Dude, I have chills right now. Is going nuts. Were you an officer here?
Yep.
Were you a guard? I thought I heard something down there. What the hell?
Hey.
Hey. I wish I could get up there.
Isolated.
Is that why you stay upstairs? Because you like to be isolated? Tripwire. Sir, can you come down here for us so we can hear your footsteps? Let me ask you something. Could you move something to show us that you're here? Because there's a lot of people that are unsure about what happens to us after we pass on, after we die. And you're in a unique position, sir, to show people that you can still interact with us. Pyramid just went off. Can you tell us, sir? Can you show us that you still are here with us?
Ugh.
It just went dead.
What?
Everything.
Yeah.
I have a box in my hand here that it is believed you can use it to speak to me. You can use it to send Dave or I a message. If there's anyone in this cell right here, if you walk across the back wall, it'll play music.
We've come a long way, haven't we, Ryan?
We sure have. We've come a hell of a long way.
How do you feel about having a couple Americans standing here outside your cell? That's creepy.
Can you pull energy from that storm, from that lightning, to make something happen for us? Our whole goal is to try and document proof that there is something beyond this life. There is something that happens to us after we die. There is something that allows us to interact with each other still. Look,
What did it say?
it said David.
I'm right here.
Witch.
No, I'm not a witch. But I am standing here. Talk to me through that device.
Do you think we're witches because we're trying to communicate with the dead?
Is there something you want to say to me? We would love for you to come out and talk to us a little bit. Can you use that device to tell us your name? If there's anybody in this cell block, we're asking you to make yourselves known. Look at this right here. Look at all the bright lights on this thing. Can you reach out and try and touch that? Make the colors show up like I just did? I don't think you can do it. I don't think you will do it.
It just did it.
Okay, you proved me wrong. Well, hold on. I did just put my arm up here when that happened.
Okay.
Let me just...
No?
Okay. All right. You proved me wrong.
So that lantern detects EMF, guys. It's quite literally like a K2 meter. But it has sound and light recognition for the EMF that it detects, and it lights straight up the lantern. So, what? What happened?
I just saw like a shadow. Like obviously I can see your shadow,
Yeah.
but it was right along the cell door fronts. And it was a very small, black, fast-moving ball of light. And as soon as that happened, the lantern went off.
The lantern went off again?
It flickered, but
Huh.
it didn't make sound.
Let's take a look at the footage to see if anything was captured. The first thing I notice is the unfortunate fact that I'm blocking most of the area Dave claims to have seen this anomaly, and no shadow ball was captured on our wide camera angle. Also, at the exact same moment that he sees it, I move my arm and hand to adjust my hat. It is possible the movement of my hand created a weird shadow that moved down the wall, startling Dave. But since we didn't capture what he saw, we have nothing to compare it to and no way to know what caused what he saw. What we do know, though, is that we're on edge in this creepy and dark cell block.
That was freaking weird. That scared me.
Did Dave just see you? Did he just see your shadow or your light or whatever that was?
That scared me. Ryan and I are not trying to be rude or anything like that, or sound like we are, but I'm sure you don't care. You're an inmate here. I'm sure you could kill us up in about 2 minutes, couldn't you?
Can you come speak through this box in my hand right here, get as close as you can, and try and say a word? Somebody said, get out of here. Do you not want us to be up here?
What was my name again?
Like I said, now listen. We're listening. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, hey, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Hi. What is your name?
It just said Dave again.
It did.
Who?
That's creeping me out.
Is your name Dave, or are you talking about Dave right here?
We can both be named Dave, that's okay. I just heard it again.
Are you buried on the property? Are you one of the men or women that's on Murderer's Row? How did you die? How did you pass away? What did you think that said?
I can't say it.
Okay.
I didn't hear what the voice said in the moment, but Dave's shocked and uncomfortable demeanor, plus his refusal to repeat it, told me everything I needed to know. And on review, he was right. Even if this was interference, the racial slur that came out of the spirit box would not be on public radio. Could we be in the presence of an angry and racist prisoner here in the Remand building?
Which cell number was yours?
I thought I just heard something that take them back or something.
Which cell number was yours? Which cell number was yours?
Do you want us to leave? Do you want us to get out of here? If you do, just tell us that you want us to leave and we'll pack up and go right now. It seems like the activity here comes in waves.
It does, very much.
But that was f***ing with my head because we got the name David through the Ovilus. We got David, Dave, hey Dave, hi Dave, how many times? Like 3 times in a row through this box.
On the moon phase, yeah.
Someone is either named Dave or David or something or someone really likes you.
Yeah.
We're here.
What was that? The lantern just went off. Right as soon as I said we're here. Whoa. Who's in here?
We decided to put the EMF tripwire stretching from the condemned man's cell to the gallows trapdoor. If there's any energy from these prisoners' final walk, hopefully we'll be able to see it, visually, on the tripwire.
I'm gonna sit down right here inside the cell. Are you standing out there at the gallows? Were you condemned? Whoa.
Can you show us the path that you had to walk?
Wow.
Wow.
That was really cool.
What was the path that you had to walk? Wow.
Did you have to walk from where I'm sitting straight out the door? You've been good about lighting up the line of lights. Can you light up the one that is at the very end of it? Just go straight out into the middle of the room and touch the red light. Moving past the music box. Can you tell me what happened right here? Use this box in my hand and tell me what happened.
Were you afraid to walk out that door? If you were, make those lights light up again. Wow.
We're really sorry that this is where your life ended up. I'm sure there were so many more things you wanted to do, so many things that you could do, but your decisions that you made led you here. Whoa. Wow. We're gonna have to leave here soon. But we want to get your message. We want to hear from you. We want to know whether or not you can still communicate with us after you've passed on. And like I always tell pretty much everyone that we try and come in contact with, right now you're in the position to show us that there is a possibility for life after death.
Looky here. That's the red light we're talking about right here. So my question to you is, if there's something more after we die, can you follow that line of lights up to that red light and make it turn on? You gotta make that red light turn on, please. Can you show us What the path of your last walk was?
Well, we want to thank you, whoever you are. Whether you're here or whether you're just, whoa. I'm gonna set this down right in the path of this. See if it says anything else. This was an absolute blast. I mean, we want to start off by thanking Adelaide's Haunted Horizons for inviting us to come out here, bringing us out here to investigate, to be one of the first American paranormal investigators on YouTube to investigate the Old Adelaide Jail and to see for ourselves that there is something that resides within this jail that you can't explain. We also wanted to thank Amy and Jared from Amy's Crypt for meeting up with us for a little bit this evening before we started investigating, and also for lending us their brand new paranormal tripwire, EMF tripwire, the EMF lantern over there, and allowing us to test that equipment out. So it's been a blast here. The Adelaide Jail is a place that you really should see. If you live in Australia or you have the means to get to South Australia, you really should come to Adelaide, to the Old Adelaide Jail, because this place is historical, it's haunted, it's fascinating, and it is beautiful. So thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because this is the first of many videos that we're going to be bringing you from our adventures in Australia. And we want to bring you along on our paranormal quest, so don't miss it. Set that bell notification so you never miss a video. Also, make sure you share this video with your friends and family. That helps more than you know. And if anyone wants to support us additionally, you can also become a member of our YouTube channel or become a patron on our Patreon page. But until next time, guys, stay safe. Hope you're ready for more adventures. Wow. What the hell? What a way to sign off.
Yeah,
That was the strongest trigger of the night.
it was. Thank you so much for communicating with us.
We'll see you next time.